All right, so hello everybody, good afternoon, welcome to class. So when you go to the Bright Space, you're gonna see I just posted a couple of things about if somebody needs help, okay? So if one needs help, you see, for instance, you can go the Math Help Center, this one right here. If you go here, you're gonna see it's like some math teachers at CCBC who volunteer themselves to help students virtually and on site, So this is a schedule. So that is very, very important, like, it's 7 days, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. So everywhere you see 163, it means you can go there. You see, everywhere you see 163, you can go there. You click on the link right here. You right click on this. It's going to be either a Zoom link or a Teams link. The on-site is at Catonsville, I think. That is on Wednesdays. That is on-site right here, Catonsville. Only on Wednesdays. Monday and Wednesday. You see, Monday 1 to 4 on Wednesday. All right.
Can I join you?
Aren't you in class?
Yeah.
You can't have to like click on it. Really? Exactly, that would have blast.
So,
She's in class. No, she...
Okay.
That's what happened.
So you can mute yourself if you have some stuff on the background. Okay. So, and also the Student Success Center also you have some tutoring sessions. That is every time you cannot, for instance, for some scheduling reasons, you cannot come to my office hours. Remember, I have office hours and I do.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone can hear me right now, but I'm having some speaker problems. So I might not be able to hear anything.
Okay. Everybody else hears me?
I'm gonna try to fix it though.
Everybody else hears me good? Okay, so
yes.
yeah, you might have maybe you have some interferences maybe. So all right. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on. Last time we saw how to solve quadratic equations. So basically we reviewed the factoring method, we reviewed the completing the square method, we reviewed the square root property method, but we said the best method ever is a quadratic formula, right? That is the best method to solve quadratic equations. Before we move on, so can you solve? We're going to do that real quick, right? Solve. Go ahead, everybody. Can you solve this equation x squared equal to 7x minus 2? Of course, the easiest way to do it is to do the quadratic formula. That is the easiest way to do it. All right. So, okay. What can somebody walk me over the steps for this one?
Do you subtract 7x
Uh-huh.
plus 2? Or
Yep.
no, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and then it's x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0.
Exactly. Thank you
Okay.
very much. X squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0. Remember, before we apply the quadratic formula, you have to have 0 on one side, right?
Right.
Now, what is A? How much is A?
1,
1. How much is B?
-7,
And C is
2.
positive 2, right? So and now, by now, does everybody memorize, the quadratic formula? X equal to what?
-b,
Which is
7.
7, right? Exactly. Plus or minus square root of,
-7 squared.
yes, which is 49 minus 4 times 1 times 2, right? All over 2 times 1, which is 7 plus or minus square root of 41 divided by 2. And then we can stop right here. Okay, so that is basically how to solve a quadratic formula. I mean, how to apply a quadratic formula. So now, after that, we have a lot of application problems, it's going to take us a lot of time if you do it a lot. So we're going to do one application problem that is very, very common, right? So for answer, it says, we
I'm sorry.
launch, yes, go
Can
ahead.
you move the screen up just a little? Yeah, right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
So we can say, for instance, we can launch an object upward, right? Okay. So physically, there is an equation in physics that will give you what is the height, that's going to give you the trajectory. Okay, we are not doing physics here. We are not really investigating where the equation come from. But if you did a little physics, you would understand where the equation comes from, right? So it's telling me, so the height of the object, the height h of the object after t seconds of the launch, right? Is given by h equal -4.9 t squared plus 24t plus, let's say, 10, right? Okay, feet. Okay, so I was saying this equation right here, if we launch something upwards, right, something right here, so we are here, and we launch something, it's going to go up, and eventually it's going to come down to the ground, right? If the object is mainly subjected only to its own weight, right? That is what you call like a free fall, okay? If you don't have a lot of wind or something like that, that's what you call in physics a free fall, okay? And because it is like a free fall, the equation is given and it's going to depend on the gravity, right? If you look at this equation right here, the trajectory, first of all, it does make sense to take it as a quadratic equation in t, because look at the trajectory, right? Look at the trajectory, what the object did. This looks like what? What type of graph it does look like? It does look like what?
Parabola.
A parabola, right? It does look like a parabola. And everything that does look like a parabola, it is just normal to describe it as a quadratic equation. It is normal, right? Nothing shocking about it. Okay, now look at the numbers now. In physics, how much is the gravity? 9 point what? In the International
8.1.
System of Physics, 9.8, right? What is half of 9.8?
4.9.
4.9. You see, and you see 4.9 here. That is the gravity. That is the acceleration, the gravity. 24 could be the initial velocity with which the object was launched, 24 feet per second, right? The 10 here could be the initial height, okay? For instance, this object was launched 10 feet away above the ground, okay? But again, we are not investigating where the equation comes from here. We are not. We're just saying here, we're just trying to answer to this question, which is, when the object will it when the object will hit the ground? When? You see, that's the question we're going to try to answer too. Okay, so how we go with it? When the object hits the ground, right? When the object hits the ground, how much is the height?
5.66. Well, negative 5.66.
10.
When the object hits the ground, the height is negative 5.66. The height has to be positive, right? When the object is on the ground, exactly on the ground, how much is the height?
0.
Oh, 0.
0, right? Everybody see that? When the object is at the ground, right here, it means the height is 0. Now, what variable represents the height here? We have two variables, the h and the t. Who represents the height?
H.
The h. Now, what you're going to do then, because the height is 0, what you're going to do for the h then?
We will replace the H by 0.
You're going to replace the h by 0, right? You see? Then you're going to replace the h by 0. So you're going to get 0 is equal to negative 4.9 t squared plus 24t plus 10. And then we're going to solve this. Of course, what's going to be my preferred method to solve this?
Quadratic formula.
Exactly, quadratic formula. So the numbers are not too nice, so you have to use a calculator, okay? So what is my A?
Negative
4.9.
9.81.
Negative 4.9. My B is 24, and my C is 10. So there's going to be T equal to negative B, which is negative 24, plus or minus square root of B squared, which is 24 squared, minus 4 times negative 4.9 times 10, all over 2 times negative 4.9. All right, and then I do the math. Okay, so I have to get my calculator out, right? Because of this, so Everybody, if you have a calculator, you can do it at the same time. It's 24 squared, right? Minus 24 squared minus 4 times 4.9 times, right? Is 772. The stuff inside the parentheses is 772. So I get negative 2.4, negative 24, plus or minus square root of 772, all over negative 9.8.
Oh, wait, we don't have to solve that for like, to get a number?
Yes, we
No.
have to, exactly. We have to, you see, the first one is negative 24 plus square root of 772 divided by negative 9.8. And the second one is negative 24 minus square root of 772 divided by negative 9.8. Again, if you have a calculator, you do the same time as me. So I have a calculator right here. The first one right here, let me do the first one, negative 24 plus square root of 772 and divided by negative 9.8, right? So I get negative 0.386. The other one, I do negative 24 minus the squares of 772 equals, and then divided by negative 9.8 is 5.28. Okay, what should be my final answer, everybody?
Wait, wouldn't it be a negative?
Yeah, I
No,
got
this-
that's what my answer was as well. I got the negative as well.
No, the second one is definitely positive. Because look at the numerator. The numerator is positive. It's negative. The denominator is negative. When you divide two negatives, you get a positive number, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So what should be my final answer?
X equals, T equals negative, no, H equals negative 0.386 or positive 5.28.
Okay, so basically you are proposing to give the two numbers as your final answer. But look at the question right here. When we say when, my answer should be a time, right?
Yes,
Now,
we will take
what
the positive response.
exactly? The time cannot be negative, right? Because the time cannot be negative, this is supposed to be seconds, right? Negative 0.3 seconds. But we cannot have negative time, so this is not a good answer, and that is my good answer, right? The object will hit the ground after 5.28 seconds, right? Okay, so this is just one example of application. Of course, you have like a bunch of applications. If we really had like a lot of time to do these topics, we would spend a lot of time doing the application, stuff like that. But we don't have that time. We have to go over some material. I just gave you one example, that you can see, or you could see on the test, something like that. So basically here, this is like a real life problem, by the way. This is a real life problem, right? This is like math applied to physics, okay? So, all right. Again, the only math we did here is to apply the quadratic formula. That is the only math we did. All right, so now we can go ahead and do another type of equations. a fourth degree equation. All right, so let's say somebody asks you to solve this one right here. Solve x to the fourth minus 2x squared minus 15 equals 0. Okay, so far we haven't seen an equation where you have a degree 4, like power 4 in it, okay? So in general, we don't know so much how to deal with this type of equations. In general, we don't know, okay? But this, what makes this one particular is before we have x to the fourth and we have x squared, right? This is what makes it particular. Okay, for instance, if we just said x squared minus 2x minus, x to the fourth minus 2x minus 15 equals 0, then we wouldn't know how to solve this one, right? You see this one right here, x to the fourth minus 2x minus 15, we don't know how to solve it at this level of math, okay? What made us be able to solve this is we have x to the fourth power and we have x squared. So we can do something to make the equation become quadratic, okay? How? If I said w is equal to x squared, right? If I said w equal to x squared, that is, I decided to rename x squared w, right? How much is w squared then?
X to the fourth.
W squared will be x to the fourth, right? Thank you very much. Then, everybody see that? Then, w squared will be x to the fourth. Now, if I can rewrite my equation, not in terms of x's, but in terms of w's, right? So now I can rewrite the equation as what? W squared minus 2w minus 15 equals 0, right? You see? So my equation became quadratic, right? All of a sudden, my equation became quadratic. Now, do I know how to solve a quadratic equation? Of course I do, right? Okay, so what method are you going to go for? What method are you going to use for this one, everybody?
Quadratic?
Quadratic formula?
Yeah.
You couldn't just
You
use the
could.
original one?
You could, but the quadratic formula in general we don't apply it. We don't apply it to the except for the quadratic equation. Okay, so if you decide to apply it for the original, then you have to know how to master the next steps. Okay, so we don't prefer that in this level. So, but isn't it another? Look at the equation. Look at this equation. How nice the equation looks like, right? Can we try to factor it real quick? If it doesn't work, we use the quadratic formula. Can we try to factor this?
Yes, we really
W?
Negative 5 and positive 3.
Exactly. For the record, always try to factor. If the equation looks nice, try to factor. But don't spend like the whole minute trying to factor. Spend like 20 seconds trying to factor. If it does work, then it's going to make you go quicker. If it doesn't work, then you use another method, right? But only when the equation looks nice, only, okay? We try to factor when the equation looks nice, like this one. I use a w minus 5 and w plus 3, right? Equals 0. So we get w equal 5 or w equal negative 3. Are these two my final answers?
I would assume not because you took out the first W, right?
What was my original variable? What was the name of my original
X.
variable?
X to the fourth.
X was my original variable, right? So do I have the value of X yet? I don't have the value of X yet, right? What W represent? W represent what? X squared, right? Mm-hmm. You see, I have to keep going until I get X. When
So
X
you
squared is
square
equal
root
to
it?
5, exactly, we square root that, we get X equal to plus or minus square root of 5. And here, X equal to plus or minus what? What comes out when it takes the square root?
Square 3i.
The I, right? Plus or minus I square root of 3. And these are my answers. How many solutions I have? How many?
2.
Only 2? How many?
3.
Oh wait, 3.
4.
You
Four?
have 4.
4.
You have root 5, negative root 5, I root 3, negative I root 3. You have 4, right? Which is not shocking because my original equation has a degree 4 right here. If I have 4 solutions, that is just logical, okay? Again, look what we did again. We transformed a first degree equation into a second degree equation, right? This is what we did. We transformed a first degree equation into a second degree by relabeling, right? And we do that a lot in math. Okay, I'm gonna give you this one to do. So solve x to the fourth plus 5x squared.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm running late, so
So you
I'm
can
going.
x to the fourth plus 5x squared Go ahead, everybody. I'll give you about like a couple of minutes to do that. Meanwhile, you can type your name for the for the attendance, please, everybody. You can type your name on the chat for the attendance. All right. Can somebody tell me the solutions they got? Can somebody tell me the solutions they got?
6i over 2 and 4i over 2. I don't know if that's right.
6i over 2 and 4i over 2?
Yeah, I don't know if that's right.
Positive and negative square 2i or positive and negative square 3i.
Exactly. You see that the last ones seem to be more, I think, more correct. So here, of course, we're gonna set a new variable, right? You know, we can call it W or U, whatever you know you want to call it. Set U equal X squared, right? You see, it doesn't matter how you call it. Then you have U squared is equal to X to the fourth, right? Now you go
Oh, I
ahead and
forgot
you
to do
replace,
that.
yeah. And then you go ahead and you replace X to the fourth with U squared. You see, this becomes this plus 5U plus 6 equals 0, right? And now you're gonna see how to solve this one. You can use quadratic formula. You can use you know, factoring if factoring does work, right? Does factoring work here? Can you factor this?
Yes,
I don't think so.
What are the two numbers?
3 and 2.
3 and 2, right? 3 plus 2 is 5, 3 times 2 is 6. We get U plus 3 and U plus 2, right? And now we're gonna solve them to 0. You get U equal to -3 or U equal to -2. But we just remember we don't stop right here. Do not stop here. We remember the U is X squared, right? We get X squared equal to -3 or X squared is equal to -2. And then we take the square root, you see? We get X equal to plus or minus I root 3 or X equal to plus or minus I root 2. Okay? So these are fourth degree equations. All right. So we are trying to go over some type of equations, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then we have another type of equation is absolute value equations, right? By the way, do you remember absolute value?
Yes.
Everybody remembers absolute value, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the examples or do you know exactly the definition? You see how I know that? If I ask you, what is absolute value of 8, everybody will tell me what?
What's the -8?
No, absolute value of 8. You're gonna tell me it is?
8.
8. Absolute value of -9, you're gonna tell me it is?
9.
9. But when I say absolute value of X, what's it gonna tell me?
Positive -x.
Exactly, thank you very much. It is equal to positive X, if X is positive, right? Or negative X, if X is negative, okay? That is the definition of absolute value. If I don't know exactly what is the sign of X, I have to say all the cases, right? Absolute value of X.
Can you scroll up, please?
The other one,
I mean down. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna write it down, you know. This was a scratch paper, I'm gonna write down right here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say absolute value of X is equal to X if X is positive, or negative X if X is negative, right?
Right.
So can you give me another definition of absolute value using the distance, the word distance? Can somebody knows what is absolute value using the word distance? Absolute value is how far a number is away from 0, right? Do you remember that? Absolute value of a number is a distance away from 0, okay? Why we say absolute value of -5 is 5? Because how many units -5 is away from 0?
5.
5 units, right? That's why we say 5. Absolute value is actually a distance, right? Okay, so because absolute value has two possible outcomes, right? Absolute value of any variable has two possible outcomes. Because of that, when you have to solve an equation with absolute value, because of that, if somebody asks you to solve absolute value of x is equal to 3, right? Because absolute value on the left side has two possible outcomes, then we will have two solutions here. Because on the left, the absolute value of x is either equal to x or either equal to -x, right?
Yes.
It's either equal to x or either equal to -x, okay? When it is equal to x, we said x equals 3, right? When we say equal to -x, we say x equal to -3, right? So what are two numbers whose absolute value is 3? What are they? They are 3 and -3. Right?
-3.
Exactly. So this tells you x equal -3 or x equal +3. Every time you have absolute value equal to a positive number, you have two solutions, right? Very likely. Every time. So don't forget, if you just focus on one solution and you dismiss the other one, you haven't solved it. You didn't solve it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now if we go further, if we say absolute value of x minus 2 is equal to 5, right? Look here, what is something we cannot do? And if you do it here, I'm going to stop grading your paper. I'm going to stop grading the problem. I give you 0. What is something you cannot do?
If we change that -2 to +2.
Yes, you cannot go inside and add positive. You see, we like to get x by itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't rush. You cannot add 2. If you add 2, you get it wrong from the beginning, right? We cannot add inside absolute value. Absolute value is like a wall, is a firewall. We cannot get into it, right? By addition or subtraction, we cannot do that. Okay? What I do here is, after I get the absolute value by itself, which is the case here, I have to break it down into two equations, right? I have to set whatever I have equal to -5, or whatever I have equal to +5, right? I have to say x minus 2 is equal to -5 or x minus 2 equal to +5. Okay?
Oh, we can say that it's -x minus 2.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do negative in front x minus 2. I think, the way we present, this way is maybe is easier for students in general, right? That's why we present it this way, right? The way you're saying is this. The way you're saying is this. So it's to say, when you have absolute value of x minus 2 equal to 5, you say either x minus 2 equal 5,
or x minus 2 equals
or
-5.
negative x minus 2 equal 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see? Which is exactly the same, because this negative, guess what? What can we do with this negative? We can transfer it, right?
Yeah,
we
but
can move
it will
it from
change.
here to here, right?
But if we put it in this way, it will change. Like
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
multiply
you
it,
see,
it will change.
exactly. This is exactly the same way. It's not even two ways, it's only the same way, frankly. But I think this way right here is easier for like, the regular students, right? This way right here, okay? So, because here, once you don't worry about changing the left side. You don't worry about that. What's going to change? Only the right side, right? Okay, because changing the left side, some students will have a little problem to do that, okay? So, but changing the number, you set whatever you have inside one time equal to 5, though, another time equal to -5, I think is easier, okay? But if you use the other way, it's also correct, you know? It's very, very correct, by the way. Because you're gonna have the same answer at the end. So now, everybody see what we did?
Yeah.
We have set whatever inside the parenthesis, inside the absolute value, we have set it to one time to 5 and one time to -5, right? And then we just solve. We add 2 here, we add 2, we add 2, we add 2, right? So we get x equal to -3 or x equal to +7. Okay? Everybody see that? Okay,
Yeah.
now let's do something which is more general than this example right here. Ooh,
Yes, sir.
yes.
I have to leave a little, I have to leave like 5 minutes early today.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know. So if you have like 2x minus 1 plus 13 is equal to 19. You see here, that is a general, this is a more general equation than the one we just did. But
So
is not more complicated than the other ones, right? We understand we're going to break it down into 2 equations, right?
Mhm.
But is it time to do it yet?
no, we add -13 each side first.
Exactly. The first step you have to do is always isolate the absolute value. Okay? Don't do anything else until you get it by itself, right? Which means here you have to -13 on both sides. What you get? We get 2x minus 1 is equal to 6. Now you're going to break it down into 2 equations, right?
Yes.
Break it down to 2 equations. Again, I repeat again, the easiest way to do it, I repeat again, for regular students, the easiest way to do it is to set it to 6 and to set it to -6. So you don't have to worry about, the left side, because the left side is harder to maneuver in general. So I said 2x minus 1 equals 6, or 2x minus 1 equals -6. When you do that, when you are setting to 6 or -6, you don't change the left side, right? You don't change the left side. The left side is exactly the one. And look what we don't have anymore. What we don't have anymore?
We have to find x.
We don't have any more what? When you after you break it down
You
to
don't
2
have 13
equations,
anymore.
you don't have any more the absolute values, right?
Yes.
You don't have any more the 2 bars. If you put the 2 bars after you break it down, it is wrong. If you do this, some students do that. Unfortunately, some students do that. If you do this is wrong right here. Okay. When you break it down to 2 bar, when you break it down, you don't have no more absolute values, right? That is the reason why I break it down, by the way. And now we have to solve for x now. 3 solve for x.
So x equals 7/2, or
X equals 7/2, or what?
x equals -2.
-5/2,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, it's -5/2.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
sorry.
you have to add 1 and divide by 2. Everybody see that, please? Okay, so that is how we solve a general absolute value equation. That is how we solve them, a general absolute value equation. Okay, so if I do this, I'm going to give you a couple of them now. Try to do that by yourself. You see, look at how look at how I laid down the second one, right? I did it intentionally, right? Because I want to bring your attention to the stuff, to the priority of operations, right? Look at the second one, right? It's 6 minus 2 times absolute value, etc., etc. What is something you cannot do? If you do it, it's wrong from the beginning. What's something you cannot do?
Multiply everything by 2.
I mean, if you decide to
You
multiply
can't
everything by
subtract
2,
and add the
you
9.
can do that. We cannot subtract what you look at the two numbers that are, it's very tempting to do. It's very tempting to subtract, but we cannot do it. Say my internet is unstable. Everybody can hear me, right? Okay. So we cannot do 6 minus 2. You cannot combine the 6 and the 2, right? Okay.
Yes.
We cannot, because everybody remembers the PM-, parentheses, exponents, etc., etc. You cannot do the 6 minus 2. You cannot do that. Okay. The 2 is with the absolute value. If you want to get rid of the 2, you have to divide by 2, right? But not now. You don't divide by 2 now. You're going to get rid of the 6 first. Okay. All right. So everybody, try to do that. Try to do these two, please. I repeat again, everybody, if you want to be counted present, it's not only enough to be on Zoom. You have to write your name, okay? Some people, I don't know, if you are not in front of your Zoom session, and you don't write your name, then you are not present in this class, okay?
I'm done.
Done. All right. Okay, so somebody walks me over the steps for the first one? What you did first for the first one?
Add +9 each side.
Everybody, you see, I don't do nothing until I get the absolute value by itself. So we add 9 on both sides, right? Then we get what? Absolute value of 3x minus 7 is equal to 4, right? So after that, I'm going to break it down into 2 different equations, right? And the easiest way to do it again is 3x minus 7 is equal 4, or 3x minus 7 is equal to -4, right? Once we get to this step, we're almost done, right? But you know, you don't stop right here, you still have to solve it. We get x
Yes.
equal to 11/3 for the first one.
And the
Or-
second one, 1. X equal 1.
Is x equal +1, right? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. For the next one now, you know, I wrote it this way just to bring your attention to the order of operations, what we should do first. We cannot go ahead and subtract 6 and 2. We cannot do that.
Yeah, we add -6 first.
Exactly. We subtract 6 on both sides. We get -2, absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to -5. And then how to get rid of the -2? What we do?
Divide each side by -2.
Divide each side by -2. Divide each side by -2. So we get absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to +5/2, right?
Yes.
And then we're going to break it down into 2 different equations. So it's x plus 3 is
Equal
equal to
5/2.
5/2, or x plus 3
-5/2.
-5/2. And then we just subtract 3 on both sides to be done, right?
Yeah.
So
Isn't
this
we x equal 2?
So let's see what you get. So, right, so it's going to be this, we get x equal 5/2 minus 3. What fraction is that? What fraction we get? If you write 3 as 3/1, right? What is LCD?
We have to divide by 2.
This is 2, this is 2, right?
Mhm.
Go 5 minus 6 is -1, is -1/2. And the other one here, we do the same here. We get x equal to -5/2 minus 3. Again, it's 3/1, we multiply by 2, so we get -11/2. All right. So this is how we solve an absolute value equation, right? Again, you know, on the test, in 163, what you're gonna have is something similar to this, okay? All right, so now, how about this one?
Can you scroll up really fast just so I can take a picture of it? Because the whole thing has just been acting crazy.
Okay. So
I have a question, please.
is that enough right here? Yeah, go ahead, Alia.
Do we have due date for the assignments, or we just go to Alex's website and then just practice?
Yes, Alex's website. You have to go to Alex. These are the assignments, you know, the homework assignments. So now the quiz is gonna come next week, right, everybody? I will post a quiz, our quiz #1 next week on Brightspace. It's like a take-home quiz, which means when I post it on the 15th, for instance, you will have until the 16th to submit it. But meanwhile, what am I gonna do meanwhile? Today or tomorrow, you know, the next couple of days, I will post what I call a practice quiz. It has nothing math in it. It's not about math. It's about for you to know how to submit something on Brightspace, okay? because, and is, you know, it's not graded, but everybody has to do it, because you cannot wait until the day of the quiz and tell me I don't know how to submit my work, okay? You cannot send it to me to my email. You have to submit it on Brightspace. So I'm gonna post something on Brightspace the next couple of days. That's gonna be labeled practice quiz. Practice quiz. It will have no math in it. Probably I will put some instructions in it. And then in the instructions, I will tell you how to submit your work, right? And where to submit your work, okay?
So
Mhm.
when I registered for the class, it told me to take the knowledge test, like check the your knowledge, okay?
Yeah, I mean, the
And
Alex
then, yeah,
yes, go ahead.
I press, I don't know. I know that, but I want to see what's after this step. So
Yeah,
now I have
so-
to take 16 topic first.
No, you see, it is the same thing. Whether you say you know or you don't know, you still have about the same amount of work, right? So for the knowledge check, that is the Alex model. They're gonna try to see, okay, what these students does know. And if you look at the knowledge check, there is some question even about the last chapter of 163, right? So some people thought you have to get it right. I said no, that is not the goal. Say even you don't know. Say you don't know. It's gonna unlock what you have to do, right? And the theory behind that is they're gonna try to customize what every student will have to do, you know, but basically everybody gonna practice the same topics, okay?
Yeah, so
Everybody
these
gonna
topics
practice
are
the same-
assignments.
Yes, these are the assignments, the objective.
Oh, okay.
What they call objective, and these are the assignments. After
So
your
as
knowledge
long-
check, after your
Yes.
knowledge check, the assignment will be unlocked, and then you see them.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, so everybody right here. So tell me now, what do you got for this one? What solution you got?
That makes no sense.
So nobody was done?
X
Oh, I did it. I
equals
just can't find my
-3.
answer.
You can't find your answers? Okay, so, okay. Somebody got like a couple of numbers as answers, or what you got?
X equals
Here we-
-3 or X equals 7.
X equal -3 or X equal? Yeah, by the way, you know, just a little comment, you know, this is a virtual school, so I don't know how long you did that, you know, since the COVID, but if something is there, when you do the virtual school, basically, the attention you have to have depends on you like 80% of the cases. So I don't want to say everybody, okay, put your camera on because I don't know where everybody is, right? Okay, so, but if you don't have your camera on, it's going to diminish how your focus, right? That is just a fact. If you turn your camera off, you feel free, you feel more free, and then sometimes you do focus, sometimes you don't focus. But don't forget, this is a math class, right? This is not like, you know, this is a math class. It's not like, you know, college algebra. It's a little bit more than that. So this is 163. To pass this class, everybody has to be focused. What you're doing right now is a plain review, okay? It might seem to be very easy for you, but this is just a review, okay? Going forward, if you go to the new topics, you have to focus on this class if you want to pass it, right? You cannot just like, you know, be on Zoom and do like 5 things at the same time and then get an A on the test. That will not happen, okay? So just, you know, I'm just saying that for, you know, because I have the impression I'm talking like a couple of people, okay? And the class is about 25 people in it. So I really hope everybody, you don't have to talk in class, but I really hope everybody is focused. When I ask you to do something, I really hope everybody is trying to do it, okay? So And believe me, you know, virtual classes, this is the challenge, is how I stay focused like 1 hour and a half, you see. All right, so here, some people told me there's a couple of solutions, but look, somebody else has a different answer. Do somebody has a different answer?
For this,
All right.
I got
-3 and 7.
-3 and 7?
that's what I got.
Yes.
Okay, so look, I have a different answer. My answer
I
is
think here we cannot.
exactly, Sheriff. My answer is there is no solution here. And why? Look, everybody did -7, right?
Right.
You got x minus 2 equal to -5. But what absolute value cannot be?
Christ.
An absolute value cannot be
Negative.
negative, right? Because absolute value is a distance, right? Absolute value cannot be negative. Absolute value cannot be negative. Every time you have absolute value by itself and you have a negative number on the other side, that is not possible, okay? So then you can go ahead and say, from here, you see, you don't proceed, you say, no solution. All right, remember that. If you don't see that there is no solution, there will be nothing that's going to prevent you to do the steps, okay? That's what everybody did. So, you know, you're going to break it down into 2 equations, etc. But remember, when you have the absolute value, by itself, right? And you have a negative number on the other side, no solution, okay? You don't proceed. So these are the absolute value equations, all right? So, of course, after the equations, we're going to see the inequalities. All right. Inequalities is a topic that comes right after equations. You know, for the inequalities, we have like 4 of them. So everybody knows this reads what? This symbol reads less than,
Oh, less
right?
than, yeah.
This one reads what?
Less than or equal to.
This one reads
Greater than.
Greater
Than or equal to.
When I say 6 is less than or equal to 8, is that a true statement or not?
No.
no.
Less than.
Why it is not true?
8 doesn't equal 6. Or then 6
Yeah,
doesn't
but
equal
you see, but the statement says less than or equal. Or, you see, it's or. When you every time you have or, is one piece is right, then the whole thing is right. Every time you have or, right? So this statement is true because 6 is actually less than 8, right? Okay. So when you say 8 is less than or equal to 8, this statement is also true because 8 is equal, right? They both true. So now, do you remember the intervals? We have to talk a little bit about the interval, right? Because the solutions of inequalities very likely will be written as intervals, right? What is an interval? An interval is a subset of the number line. If I have this is my number line, right? If I have, this is negative infinity, this is positive infinity, right? If I have A and here B. If I'm looking for all the numbers between A and B, including A and B. This is an interval right here. Do you remember how we used to write this interval? How we write this interval? Do you remember?
Yeah,
with the brackets.
Brackets, thank you. Bracket here. The brackets means included, right? A, comma, B bracket, right? And included on the number line, we put a solid circle, and we put a full circle, right? And everybody that is here, if X is somewhere in between, X must be less than B, and X must be greater than A, right?
Mhm.
Okay. That is a closed interval. You see, this one is a closed interval. And now the second type of interval we can have
opened.
is about the same one. We say here negative infinity, positive infinity, and this is A, this is B, and this is going to be the open interval, right? You see the open interval AB is we put open circles like this, right? And how we write the interval, you remember what we put, what symbol we put?
Parentheses.
Parentheses, A, comma, B, right, parentheses. And if the number X is in between, X has to be less than B, greater than A. We don't have no more equal, right? Every time you have less than or equal to, it is a bracket, okay? If you don't have equal to, it is not a bracket. Okay, what is another type of interval? This is an open interval right here.
Yeah, half open and half closed.
Yeah, we can have half open, half closed, right?
Yes.
Or we can have the other one I just like to talk about before the end of the class is the ones that are unbounded. You have negative infinity, positive infinity. If we say here A here, for instance, and we have the interval from A all the way to infinity. That interval is unbounded, okay? It doesn't have an upper bound, okay? And how am I going to write this interval? It's interval notation. Bracket, thank you. A, comma,
B parenthesis.
Okay, do you see any B?
No,
Do you see
no.
any B
Infinity.
Infinity.
here?
Yeah,
Infinity, thank you, parentheses.
Yeah.
After infinity, we always put parentheses because infinity is not a number, right? Infinity is not a number. It is some type of place we will never be in, by the way. We don't equal the infinity. We always goes to infinity. A variable goes to infinity. A variable cannot be equal to infinity, okay? And when X is here somewhere, what inequality X verifies? X has to be what? X has to be greater than?
A.
Or we can write A less than X, okay? That is the one. And the last one here, the very last one, negative infinity, I put here A somewhere here and here positive infinity. If I talk about the left side of A, if I do this, what is this interval right here? Can somebody tell me?
Open.
Open, right? From what to
Both
what?
parentheses. A, parentheses A, and negative infinity parentheses.
You see, okay, it's very good you gave me that answer because this will allow me to point out some stuff. Negative infinity never comes last. Negative infinity always comes first. Infinity never comes last. You see, I mean, never comes first. Infinity always comes last, okay? Because remember, the intervals, we describe the intervals from left to right, always. We describe them from left to right. Here, what I see first? From what to what? From negative infinity all the way to A, right? That is my interval. And
So,
when you describe an interval, you always go from left to right, okay? Always. You see, it's very good to know the interval because when we solve inequalities, we'll have to write the interval. So write the interval notation here, right? The intervals. If I say x is greater than 9, what is it? What's going to be this interval from what to what?
From 9 goes to negative
Exactly.
infinity.
Exactly. You see, by the way, this is here. X is here, so x is less than a. So this, you see, when you see this inequality right here, and somebody asks you to write the interval, if you have some doubts, you can try to graph it. You have 9, and here x is greater than 9, right? You see, we start from 9 and we go all the way up. So this means this interval is bracket 9, infinity, right? When I say here, the interval x less than -10, how are you going to write this interval? X less than -10.
Negative 10 opened to negative infinity.
And -10.
Negative infinity to -10, because we have here -10 here, and x is less than -10, which means x is on the left side of -10, right here, right?
Yeah, both
And this is
sides,
the difference.
parentheses.
Yes. So it's going to be negative infinity, -10.
Right.
Okay. When you come back next week, of course, we're going to do the inequalities. We're going to remember how to solve inequalities. And then we're going to see the absolute value inequalities, etc., right? So very important next week. Please don't try to miss the class on Tuesday next week, right? Because we're going to talk, we're going to be talking about the inequalities. So if you don't remember them, you see, it's going to be a good time to remember them. So now, if you go to Bryce's case, you know, I have posted some Zoom sessions. You see the Zoom sessions right here? Oh, hold on. This is your class is 163 right here. I have posted the Zoom sessions. So every time we do a class, I will try to do that. When you click on this, it's going to bring you straight to my YouTube channel, right? Okay, where you can go ahead and watch the session. At the end of the semester, I will erase them. Okay, at the end of the semester. Okay, but for now, you know, now if somebody did miss something, but do not take, please, don't take the recording as a way to avoid class. Okay. That's just a bad that's a bad idea, okay? So the recordings is just if you have some doubts and you're gonna go over some stuff, that's it. But it's not like, you know, a substitute for the class, okay? All right, everybody. Do you have any questions, everybody?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a nice week. Again, if you don't write your name yet, please write your name for the attendance, you know. Other than that, you have a nice week. Thank you, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a nice
day.
weekend.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Professor, I wanted to talk to you. Is it possible that you can make like a breakout room just so I could speak to you privately?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me see. So, Sheriff, do you need me? Sheriff, do you need to talk to me? No. Oh, okay. So the class is done. So I want to talk to William. Kevin Cox, are you here? Okay. Kevin, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So do you need to talk to me?
No, so I don't.
Okay, so you can disconnect because the class is done.
All right, so next class.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Professor, yeah, I missed Tuesday's class because I'm on vacation right now. So
Okay.
I came into class today since it was raining 100%, so
Okay.
I couldn't
So,
go, so I just connected today.
okay. So I was trying to give you an extension on RX, but you know sometimes RX
Yeah.
the RX system I have to go to see what is the way to do it. Okay. But don't worry, I'm gonna give you
Yeah, so
extension for that. Okay.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
during the rainy day I started working a little bit on Alex too, so I got a little bit done, but if you could give me that extension for
No,
a
I will
couple more days, that would be good.
I will definitely do that. You know, I believe it or not, early on I was trying to do it, but you know, Alex is not as easy to maneuver like the other systems, right? Even
Yeah.
just to give an extension, you have to go over the menu, do that, etc. But I will do it. I will do it now.
Yeah, also so you mentioned that we have a quiz next week, right?
Yes,
On
yes.
s- on Wednesday, you said?
Yeah, I will post it. It
Thursday, I
was
mean.
supposed to be posted on the 15th, which is or the 16th or
You
something
said
like
the
that, right?
15th.
Yeah. So do we have? So no, I have to check. I have to check the exact date. Okay, because the date is on the syllabus.
Yeah.
But when I post it, it's going to be posted. You see, it's going to be posted here on Brightspace, right here. So it's going to be
Yeah.
posted on Brightspace. In the quizzes here, I will post it here, right? When I post it here, you're going to see the quiz here.
Yeah.
And once you open the quiz, it's going to be timed. And then you're going to come here on the assignments. I will put an assignment.
Yeah.
I will label it as submit your quiz one here. And you're going to submit that there.
Yeah.
So if you are on vacation,
Okay.
and if you
No,
feel
yeah,
like you
I will be back. I'll be back next week.
will be back next week, okay.
Yeah.
So then it's going to
Yeah,
be
I leave. Yeah, I go back home this Sunday, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
back by Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Then so then you're going to be able to do it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be able to do it. Yeah, you said it's a take home, so we'll have a day to complete it, right?
Exactly. You have a day to complete it. It's going to be timed though.
Yeah.
Once you have a whole day to complete it, but once you open it, you will have like about 25-30 minutes to do it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Good. Thanks. Bye.